Hey everyone, it's Jona, and now that 2023 has been over for a little bit, I think it's time to finally talk about my favorite movies from the year. Before I get started, I have to tell you there is Christmas stuff behind me, and that is because I am filming a bunch of videos during my time off during the holidays. So just ignore that. Not that you can really see it. I feel like I'm blocking it. Now these aren't really in any particular order, but I feel like the ones I'm going to talk about first are my favorites. I feel pretty confident saying this, that my favorite movie of 2023 was Blue Beetle. Oh, I really love Blue Beetle. Either I'm going to or I already have talked about Blue Beetle in another video more in depth. I wanted to talk about it as soon as I saw it, like opening weekend, but there was an actor strike going on, so I wasn't able to tweet about it or put on anything on Instagram or make a video about it. I've just been waiting for a time to talk about how much I adore this film, so I guess I'm not gonna get into it too much here, but I just have to say, if you haven't seen it yet, please do yourself a favor and watch it immediately. I can watch it time and time again and still laugh and still cry a little bit. Truly, I think my favorite thing to come out of 2023 in regards to cinema. And I'm like not a DC fan. Like I can't even tell you what my favorite DC movie is. Well, I mean now I can. Is this the best DC movie? Absolutely it is. And I know people out there are gonna be like, Christopher Nolan did Batman. That's all fine and well, but this is the one. I'm here for the Blue Beetle cinematic universe. You know that meme where there's like the guy and the girl walking and the guy's turning around looking at the other girl? That's me and Marvel walking, and then Blue Beetle is the other girl, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Anyway, next on my list is The Little Mermaid live action. So nice I saw it twice in the theaters. I think that this movie was just definitely the best live action that we've gotten. Before Little Mermaid, I would have said that my personal favorite, which clearly isn't everybody's favorite, was Aladdin. But this definitely blew that out of the water. Blew it out of the water! I didn't even plan that. I fell in love with Jona, who played Prince Eric. I mean, didn't we all? Halle was just angelic and so perfectly cast. I had so much fun with this movie. I enjoyed the songs. The new additions were fun. Even Scuttlebutt. It was fun. I think my biggest critique would be Awkwafina being in the film. Besides not really being an Awkwafina fan, she's done some problematic things. It's just like her voice is her voice. So Scuttle was just Awkwafina. You know what I'm saying? It kind of took me out of the world of the movie. I think we could have cast a great character actor as Scuttle. That would be my biggest critique. But for Halle and Jona, 10 out of 10. And their chemistry, oh, don't even get me started. It was so good. And their interviews together during the press run, I can't. Next on my list is Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget. Personally, I grew up loving Chicken Run. I watched it really often when I was a kid. I still have my DVD. It probably has some scratches because I just played it so much. So when I tell you I have been waiting like so many, however long it's been since Chicken Run came out, I have been waiting and waiting eagerly for a sequel and for more Chicken Run, and this delivered. I thought it was so good. This was a top tier sequel. You know how sometimes you get a sequel and you're like, we could have done without this? That's not the case here. And honestly, I'm a vegetarian, but even if I wasn't, I would never ever even dream of eating a chicken nugget ever again. It is so like mind-blowing, the artistry behind these Aardman films. I cannot even like, I can't fathom how they do this. And it looks so crisp and so clean. The story is great. The voice acting is great. The sets, I mean, claymation just astounds me. Truly art. And the whole messaging behind it, like honestly, this is a picture-perfect film. I was so deeply impressed, and I had so much fun watching it. Next on my list is a very little-known film, and I really think that more people should give it a chance. I think maybe now that it's hit streaming, people will actually watch it. It's called Barbie, and it's like based on a toy. Oh, this is ridiculous. I saw Barbie with my best friend Elise, and it was so much fun. I don't think I've ever been in a theater where people were laughing that hard. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a true comedy. But even though this was a comedy, it was very funny. It was so colorful and fun to look at. It also had such a great message built in and so many layers to it. You know, like an onion or an ogre. This was one of the movies I was really looking forward to, but also, like, I was so confused by the teaser trailer that they first dropped and everything. It took me ages to even get a loose grip on the plot. And if you asked me last year if I thought that Barbie would take off the way that it did, I would have absolutely laughed at you and said no. But I'm glad that it did. Next on my list is The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now, I am not a Hunger Games fan. I did not grow up with the movies or the books. I mean, I grew up at the time that they were popular and stuff, but I didn't read them or watch them because, you know what, it was a little too intense for me. I was definitely scared. I think like 2 years ago I watched the original films, and you know, I was nervous the entire time. They're just a little much for my own personal taste. But when I heard that Rachel Zegler was going to be in this one, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to watch it, and I'm gonna have to like it. No, okay, so I prepared myself by reading the book before going to the movie so that I wouldn't be surprised by anything and it wouldn't be too scary. And honestly, I'm really glad that I did, because not only did nothing surprise me, but I also felt like I had a lot more context and depth of the characters in my brain. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you also haven't read the book, I definitely would recommend reading the book first so that you have more of a foundation. I thought that it was a very good adaptation. There were definitely things missing, but like for a book to movie adaptation, I thought it was pretty stellar. And of course, Rachel was incredible. I will always show up for my favorites. Sholo for Blue Beetle, Rachel for this. I was seated and ready to go. And of course they delivered. I really liked the music in this film. I understand that some people want to like see Hunger Games and not hear music or like feel like it's a musical, but I for one loved it. And I'm still listening to the— oh my gosh, can we talk about Olivia Rodrigo's original song? Can't Catch Me Now is haunting and beautiful. Like, it makes me feel things. Like, it makes me feel haunted. It makes me feel emotional. It's so gorgeous, and honestly, I mean this with my whole heart, should win the Oscar for Best Original Song. Although I haven't heard Halle's original song for The Color Purple, and I feel like that's gonna be really good too. Next on my list is Wonka. Another one that if you had asked me last year, even if I was excited to see Wonka, I would have laughed at you and said no. I just feel, you know what, I was in the Wonka Junior musical 4 times. Or 3. I don't even— they all blur together, really. So I was kind of, you know, Wonka'd out. But this movie was a fun and fresh take. There were things that I didn't really like about it. I had 2 main complaints. First being that a character would gag, and it was like a thing that they would do every time they heard the word poor. I really did not like that. I have a emetophobia, and that really bothered me. And the second thing was like the blatant fat phobia with Keegan-Michael Key's character. But if you set aside those 2 things, I really enjoyed it. I thought that Timothée Chalamet was so good as Wonka. Honestly, I keep seeing people on TikTok being like, this gave me the ick. Does Kylie Jenner have the ick? And I'm sitting here like, this gave me whatever the opposite of the ick is. I was like, oh, Timothée. He was so good and so charismatic and funny and like, oh, really, it was perfection. I would love to see it again. I would like to see the Timothée. This movie really surprised me, and you know what? It's on my list because I enjoyed it. And the songs in it are super catchy. I have been singing them almost daily after only seeing this movie once. 2 more. Elemental. Elemental was the little movie that could. It started out not doing well in the box office and then really took off, which made me so happy because I've been looking forward to this ever since they talked to us about it at D23 last year. I just think the animation is so beautiful and so like kind of mind-blowing. And the story's really beautiful and the music's really great, like the whole score, the whole feeling is beautiful. I think it has such a great story and I'm so glad that people showed up for it. It's just really creative and it's great to see Pixar doing like big world building because that's something that like we really look to them for, and I feel like this really did it. And last but certainly not least, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Honestly, controversial opinion, I think this is my favorite Indiana Jones movie of all of them. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun seeing it in theaters and I was a little nervous that it might be too intense for me, like too loud, too many things going on, but I had fun. Harrison Ford is such a national treasure, such an international treasure, such a beloved gem. And I just think it's great to see him doing this, and he was so proud of this movie, and that alone makes me really love it. The heart that he put into it, like, ugh, how can you not love it when he loves it? And I think it was a great way to end the Indiana Jones franchise rather than leaving it with Crystal Skull, I think it was called. Thank goodness, honestly. So those are my top movies of 2023. Let me know what your top movies were. What was your absolute favorite? And if you don't say Blue Beetle, know that I hate you. I'm totally kidding. I'm not putting that in. No, but seriously, what was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. And I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye.